You still look Valentine-y
I do.
with your pink and orange.
You like it?
I like it.
Do you like it?
I had a fun Valentine's with you.
We did have a fun
It's our
Valentine's
first
Day.
episode back since Valentine's. I took you on a really good date, I must
You did.
say.
It was a new achievement.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Mm-hmm. I get it.
The Dinniman joke. We went and saw Matt Dinniman at our local half-price books here in Dallas.
Author of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series.
Indeed.
But we were there.
He was there.
A standalone.
He was there talking Operation Bounce House. Ba-bum, bum, bum. It's out now, actually.
Copy of
I did get a signed copy. It's somewhere in there.
I don't know. It's in
there somewhere. There I am. I got signed. But yeah, it was great to see Dinniman. You know, I've read the books. We've talked about it on the podcast before. There's, I think, 7 of them out. The 8th one comes out in a couple months.
Yeah.
And it was packed. I haven't seen it
was
like
a
that.
lot of people.
It's great.
The fans were
The fandom was
nice.
cool.
They were all like chatting, and somebody made bookmarks.
Bookmarks and gave them out.
Bookmarks. Somebody did 3D printing keychains.
Because Mongo is appalled.
Somebody was giving out like stickers from a tattoo artist that had drawn some of the characters.
They gave everybody name tags too, which was pretty cool. That was like
Dungeon Crawler Matt.
Name tattoos. That's cool. That was so fun. It was great to hear.
Ask him a question.
I got to ask him a question, which I'll play here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But there were a few things that I wanted to talk to you about because there were a couple of cool spots that I think apply to this podcast and apply to us as we write our first thing.
Yeah.
And the first one was just his idea of just being a total pantser, which is unbelievable. The guy's 7 books into the series where like there's a bazillion characters and so many side quests and so many different things. And this, I would say it's more fantasy. It's called lit RPG, so it's more of like a D&D style book.
Yeah. For those of you listening, lit RPG would be literary role-playing games, and a role-playing game such as Dungeons and Dragons, D&D. So for some of the women who might be listening, who don't have people in that world, there you go.
Yeah, but he's a complete pantser.
Yeah. And he loves it.
And he loves it. He just paints himself in corners and just kind of like starts to write. He said, and even one of the things he does is he rewrites A, and then B, he writes what it can't be when he gets stuck, which I thought was really cool. Yeah. So he'll write what it shouldn't be. And a few times he said it turned into something that ended up in the book.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Up anyways, but I like that he lets his fans that are on his Patreon, they get to vote on things. So a lot of times they try to vote him into corners, and he loves writing himself out. That was
he has a very popular Patreon, and you can talk to him there. And actually, I think that 8th book is out in the Patreon. If you were to get it, you could go get it early. But they get to vote on things like names for characters. But one of the big thing is, I think it's the 2nd book in the series is called the Anarchist Cookbook. And it's an item that appears in the book as titular item, apparently. And it was created by the Patreon folks. They voted on it and got to do it. So they really do take a big hand in the book. So that's really cool. We learned about that. And then the thing you liked the most was his timeline piece.
Yes. Because I do like structure. He's a pantser, but I'm looking for structure. And what I really loved is he talked about how he keeps himself accountable or puts guardrails for himself by using numbers. So in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, there's 18 levels. So he knows that whatever the length of these books, however many books he's going to write, they have to get through 18 levels. Or in this new book, Operation Bounce House, it's 5 days until this big event is happening. And so he uses those numbers to put those guardrails on himself. And so we talked after the event when I took you to your favorite restaurant.
You did take me to
Crushcraft High Street Eats here in Dallas for your good Valentine's Day.
Let's do that right now.
But we talked at dinner about how can we incorporate something like that into our book of using some type of a number or a timeline.
Ticking bomb, baby.
Yeah, to create that tension, to keep moving us towards this event. Yeah, to create some stakes too. So I liked that.
That was really cool. And the last thing that I wanted to share is that he also talked about his characters, which he has a bazillion of. And he said that when they have more than 2 or 3 lines, that he knows 3 things about them. He knows their name, what they want the most in the world, and what they're afraid of most in the world, which I can only imagine, just trying to keep the mental math of all that. I think he said before in a previous interview that he has a spreadsheet too. So
of all the characters.
I
like that though, that it's like if they're going to have a few lines that he does know some pretty important things about them. I mean, a name is cool and critical, but to know like their motivation. Yeah,
for sure.
If he's going to have them speaking, especially with so many characters, I think that's cool.
I did get to ask him a question.
Yes.
And I think he technically is on the podcast.
That's
now,
what
right?
I think. I think it's, we asked him one of our final 5 questions.
We're going to ask Jenn
all
here in a little bit.
Yeah, you'll hear it on this episode. But we asked him one of those questions and then we're playing it on the podcast.
Yeah,
so
it counts.
I would say Matt Dinniman is a guest of the show.
For sure. For sure.
If he wants to come on and dispute that, he's welcome to come debate.
Laying down the gauntlet.
Whether or not the that technicality.
All right, well then let's talk to our guest, Matt Dinniman.
Hey Matt, another Matt here. Thanks for coming to Dallas. Thanks for coming back. Quick question though, what is the #1 word that you overuse in your first drafts?
Pawn. Now what would you say?
Had?
Oh. There's so many different little quirks I have in writing, and as a writer, if you're writing books, you have to have self-awareness. And I know what I do very bad. I fall in the passive voice all the time. I use had a lot. I use upon when that's an incorrect word and I know it and I don't care. I say things like, I met eyes with, which is not even a phrase, and then they get mad at me and I say I don't care. It's,
if the reader knows what we're talking about.
Right, and I made a very deliberate decision with Carl specifically that it is a first-person narrative, and it's going to read like there's a dude at the bar telling you your story. And I went out of my way not to make it too, because it doesn't fit the tone. It's written in a certain way. I mean, I won a fancy literary award when I was in college. I studied creative writing before I switched majors. And I know how to write like that. I know how to be grammatically correct. And it's so, honestly, it's easier to do it this way. But I like the way I write, and I stumble over my words sometimes, and I repeat things, and a lot of editors just lose their minds over some of the things they tend to say. Dungeon Crawl Book 8 is being edited by Penguin Random House people instead of my own editor right now, and they don't know what the hell is going on. So it's actually more work on my end because I have to push back.
Can you imagine having never read VCC and you get Book 8?
Well, as a matter of fact, I can, because I just had a conversation where the person's like, why you said the lower waist, what does that mean? You can't say the lower waist, there is no lower waist. And I said, in Mantars, there are lower waists. This is absolutely true.
Welcome back to Our Next Chapter podcast. Can you tell the people who we are, what we do, how we live, why we're alive, why we exist, why you should listen? Can you tell the people just the ethos of our entire situation, both as a couple and a person and a society and everything that's ever been known on earth? I need you to relay that right now.
Welcome to Our Next Chapter podcast. I'm Andrea. This is my husband, Matt. We are high school sweethearts with almost grown boys. We love reading romance novels, so we decided to try to write one and start a podcast to document it. And along the way, we've started playing games and spotlighting authors we love and interviewing authors we love, which you'll get to hear today.
And we talk about our life,
talk about our life.
Our son, Jackson.
We share so much with you.
Who's about to do like college stuff. Can you believe it? Do you remember when we had just a little baby?
He was just little.
And he fit on my arm like this. Remember?
Yeah, and there's a picture of it.
There's a picture of it. Yeah, and now he's preparing to go to college, and we're right in that weird spot.
Waiting for information to make decisions.
Decision making. He's got a few acceptances.
We're trying not to panic.
I know.
Our baby's leaving.
I think what's going to really hurt me is when we figure out where he's going. And then my brain starts to visualize him in that space. I think it's going to hurt.
Yeah, and it could be 20 minutes from home. It could be 20 hours from home. So we'll see. But we're in that life right now. We got the younger one, Ollie's getting ready to go to high school. So all the big things going on with that and school competitions and all the things. But
what if I get you a bumper sticker when we figure out where Jackson's going to school and it's like, my kid and my money go to Central Tennessee University. You know what I mean?
That's been my dream all along.
You know?
That's what I was
You
waiting.
need some more bumper stickers, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
My kid and my life and my dollars go to this school, you know?
Yeah.
My kid's an honor student. Have you seen the my kid can beat up your honor student stickers?
Yeah.
Maybe we need one of those.
I don't think so. That's just encouraging violence.
Okay.
But yeah, we're waiting for all those things. So in the meantime, we continue to distract ourselves
Very much so.
with romance and rom-coms. And
Sure.
I found this super cute book when I was in Minnesota at Majors and Quinn.
On your Abbey tour?
On my Abbey tour. And it's called the Rom-Com Ultimate Trivia Book. It's so perfect. Test your superfan status and relive the most iconic romantic comedy movie moments by Neil E. Fisher. Thank you, Neil, for this. He did a lot of research on these classic rom-com movies. And I love this book because it is divided into like categories. So, you know, it's like it's wedding season and it's things like 27 Dresses or My Best Friend's Wedding. There's Friends to Lovers, The Commitment Phobe. And so it's all movies that fall into these different tropes that we talk about all the time. And so I wanted to start with one of the most classic ones to quiz you on. I'm just going to read you a couple of the questions. I want to see how much you remember about the 1989 Rob Reiner classic, Rest in Peace, When Harry Met Sally.
Wait, so you're going to ask me these questions?
I'm going to ask.
I mean, I basically co-wrote this book, so there's really no reason
pretty much, yeah,
to ask me.
But this is the friends to lovers trope. For anyone who may not have seen this, I don't know how you've never seen When Harry Met Sally. If you haven't, then as soon as you finish this show, you should go watch.
Go do it.
But so this is the plot, according to Neil Fisher. Set against the backdrop of New York City, this classic rom-com follows the ever-evolving relationship between Harry, played by Billy Crystal, and Sally, played by Meg Ryan, who navigate love, friendship, and the evergreen debate of whether men and women can be just friends. There's two just there.
Just be just friends.
Men and women can just be just friends. That was a big hot debate in the story of something that they argue about the whole time.
And that's how you got me. You were sneaky. You're my friend first.
I studied When Harry Met Sally.
Oh my goodness.
I used it as a guide for myself to lure you.
Wait a minute.
But I'm gonna ask you some.
Right.
So each one has 10 questions. I'm just gonna ask you 5.
Ask me a couple. I'm so ready.
In what New York City institution does Sally loudly prove to Harry that women sometimes fake it in the bedroom? I'm going to give you multiple choice.
I think I know what it is already.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Tell me what you think.
My guess was going to be, I know it's a restaurant.
And
my guess was going to be Cat's Deli.
It is Cat's Deli.
All
You
right.
didn't even have to have the multiple choice. That's pretty good.
Look at that.
Iconic scene.
Iconic scene.
Meg Ryan.
Let's recreate that on the podcast.
And what does
today.
the lady say after? I'll have what she's having.
Yeah. Classic.
While shopping for a wedding gift for Jess and Marie, their best friends, at Sharper Image, Harry and Sally mess around with a karaoke machine and sing a song from what Broadway show? Would you like the multiple choices?
Hit me with the multiple choice. I know the answer.
I guess I should have said. If you haven't seen this movie, there are going to be some spoilers, but still worth watching. Okay. So A, Oklahoma.
Okay.
B, Carousel. C, The Music Man. Or D, Guys and Dolls.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Thematically, I think it should be Guys and Dolls.
It's not.
But it's Oklahoma.
It's Oklahoma.
I knew it. Because he does the bad accent, I think, at some point.
They talk about pecan.
Pecan.
Okay. Jess and Marie have just moved in together and ask Harry and Sally for an opinion on a garage sale coffee table made out of what?
Ooh.
You remember their big argument about this coffee
Yeah,
table?
I remember the scene. Give me the multiple choice.
A car engine, a stock car tire, bottle caps, or a wagon wheel?
I think it's a wagon wheel.
It is a wagon wheel table. Yeah.
That's right.
That's a big argument in Jess and Marie's world.
Good one.
Okay. What classic Hollywood movie is important to Harry and Sally's relationship? They first argue about it on their way to New York and later watch it while on the phone with each other.
I can see both scenes. All right, give me the multiple choice.
Sabrina, Casablanca, The African Queen, Anastasia.
It is definitely Casablanca.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful friendship.
Yes.
Okay, and this is an important one. You better get this one right because this monologue is so important.
Is it the one at the end?
Skip this if you really haven't watched it. But Lonely on New Year's Eve,
Mhm.
Harry walks past Washington Square Arch, where Sally dropped him off years earlier, and realizes they're meant to be. He races across the city, makes it to the party, finds Sally, and lists off all but which of the following details he loves about her.
Oh.
A, that she's the last person he wants to talk to before going to sleep. B, that she takes an hour and a half to order a sandwich. C, that she twitches her nose when she's angry with him. Or D, that she gets cold when it's 71 degrees out.
I think it's the nose one?
It's the nose one, because what does he say?
I don't
It's something about her face. He talks about how she gets a little
Oh, yeah.
crease between her brows when she.
I love all those things about
Yes,
you.
that's what I thought.
Oh.
Like, oh, you do. You
I
say
do.
all those things
I love
about
all those
me.
things
I
about
get
you.
cold when it's 71
Good
degrees.
one.
That monologue. Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty killer.
When you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, you want the rest of your life to begin as soon as possible.
It's a good one.
Just one of the most classic rom-coms. You did
Good one.
very well. I might bring this back out again because
That's a
you got
good
some
one.
more movies. I will say Clueless is in here. Do you need to go watch it again to
I might
study
need to
up on
watch
it?
that one again.
Yeah.
I might have to Google, what's her? Is there somebody in that one?
Remember her name, that actress?
No, I guess not.
Her character was Cher in the movie.
don't
No, you
remember.
don't remember? I think it's Alicia Silverstone. Does that ring a bell?
You know who she looks like? The person that was in those like Aerosmith music videos
Yeah,
back in the
she
day.
does look a lot like that girl who was also her, yeah.
Interesting.
Matt's first crush that he wrote his childhood book about. You made her your wife in the
That's true.
in the
Oh,
book
that's
when you were
true.
the basketball star.
That's right. All right.
Her name
do
was
click-
Alexandra in that, yeah.
True.
But might bring that back out.
Deal.
But another incredible rom-com, romance.
Yeah.
Got a good one for you today.
Got a good one. Had a great conversation with the Jennifer Dugan. And you just want to go to it now?
Yeah, let's hear from Jen.
Today, we are so excited to welcome Jennifer Dugan to our next chapter. Jen has built a career writing emotionally layered queer love stories, from her YA breakout Hot Dog Girl to the TikTok-fueled resurgence of Some Girls Do, and into adult rom-com territory with sharp banter and real vulnerability. And so across formats, including graphic novels, her stories consistently explore ambition, identity, and what it means to choose yourself. In her newest novel, Anderson in Bloom, which hits the shelves March 3rd from Avon, it follows a former child star who thought she could outrun her past until that past shows up with a memoir deal. Jen, we are so ready to unpack the Hollywood trauma, floral healing, and unresolved ex energy. Welcome to our next chapter.
Hey, welcome.
Oh, thank you so
Welcome,
much.
welcome.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you. Thank
Of
you for
course,
being here.
yes, thank
And
you.
I will say, like, in researching you, we were so convinced that we've been destined to be besties because we just had so much overlapping things in common. I saw that you used to be a veterinary practice manager.
Mhm.
I grew up as a vet tech all through high
Oh,
school and
yeah.
college. My plan was to be a vet, but
Mhm.
he has had
A million
every
jobs.
job under the
funny.
sun,
We've listed them out.
doing from all the things. And so we were looking at some of
I
your
am jealous
jobs.
of this job.
You
that
used
had.
to be an Easter bunny. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And what have you learned from that? How do you bring that into your life as an author?
Work as a writer.
Well, a lot of the people in those costumes tend to be women because they're actually smaller costumes. So that was really surprising to me.
Yeah, true.
And I just want to clarify, like, I wasn't like a high class mall Easter bunny. I was at some super like dingy, like garden center. So I was like,
Mhm.
like mud, like slightly dirty bunny
I
with
love
like
this.
soil. Yeah. And like they wanted me to like hand things from my basket and you have these like huge mitts. So I
Yep.
would be trying to like hold my head with because I'm like, well, what's worse? Like the Easter bunny can't get the egg out of the basket to hand you, or like its head rolls off.
Or his head
You know what
Right.
I mean? So it was really
Trauma.
yeah, it was a high pressure scenario. There was like a lot riding on it. But yeah, I really leaned into that in my debut, Hot Dog Girl, because she's in a hot dog suit. And
Love
so
it.
I really drew from my experience like melting in
Mhm.
Oh,
a bunny.
I can imagine.
You're a method
Yeah.
writer. I like
Yes.
that.
I mean,
yeah.
it truly like tested under pressure.
I know.
Like, I think too, just in reading about your journey to becoming an author and just the perseverance that you showed, I'm like, I bet there was some perseverance born there in that that costume of
Yeah.
having to make it through those shifts and
Mhm.
things like that. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey to becoming an author? I know that Hot Dog Girl, you said that was going to be it, right? Like that was the
Mhm.
one that, yeah.
All or nothing.
Yeah. How did
Yeah,
that get
well,
started?
I had written, a lot of manuscripts and I queried all of them very widely. My first one, which I queried very passionately and thought, "Oh, this is the moment, like, when you finish it." It was 120,000 word, contemporary
Wow.
romance, which for
Wow.
anyone listening who
Yeah.
isn't familiar, that's about, like, almost twice as long as it should
Yes.
Yeah.
be.
Yes.
Yeah. You're looking
Uh,
around 80,
Yeah.
70.
yeah, 70 to 80 is usually the sweet spot, so that's, like, upper limit of, like, a fantasy debut, like,
Yeah.
an
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
established fantasy author can get away with it, but, yeah, and my comps, which, are where you would see your book in conversation with or sitting next to, my comps in my query letter, because I really had my finger on the pulse of contemporary rom-coms, I comp Nick Hornby and James Joyce.
Mhm.
So
British male. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so right away, I think the agents were like, "This woman has no idea what she's doing." Um,
This is nice, however.
yeah, so needless to say, that didn't get me representation, but I did learn a lot of things, which was that, like, mostly I had done everything wrong, but it still took me several books after that, because I really was kind of imitating this very, like, um straight white romance thing,
Yeah.
what
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
I had to do to get a deal.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
and
Sure.
so I was about to give up, and I was like, because it's taking away from time with my family.
Right.
I'm writing
Oh, yeah.
every single night, I'm working all day, and
Sure.
then I'm, momming because I have children.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And the
Yes.
second the kids would go to bed, which luckily they went to bed early, so,
Yeah.
about 7:30, 8 p.m. on, I would write until midnight. And then I would be
Oh
up
my
at, like,
goodness.
6 in the morning with the
Ugh.
kids. So
Yeah.
Doing it all
Do it
over.
again.
Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, "This is it. I'm just gonna write a book for me, like me, that I'm gonna just have fun with, and if nothing ever comes of it, at least I'm gonna experience, like, the joy of writing something
Yeah.
that's, like, my
That
authentic
you
voice."
want.
Mhm.
Yes.
And so that ended up, very quickly with, 7 agent offers as soon as I started.
Wow.
Wow.
So, and that became Hot Dog Girl, which sold at
Yes.
auction. We had our first offer within 48 hours. We had notice of it.
Wow.
So, but there was, people call it they love to talk about overnight success, but
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right. You
6
know.
years
Yeah.
of me writing 8 to midnight and getting like 5 hours of
Yeah.
sleep for that to happen
Wow.
overnight.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's really interesting. I love this thought because we've heard it from authors about not writing to the market and about
Mhm.
writing you and writing what you know and how that always resonates
Yeah.
both with agents and the audience. So I love to hear, I'm sorry you had to go through the journey,
Right. Right.
but it's really interesting to have that same feeling because as we write, we keep thinking like, should we be writing more like X author? Should we
Mhm.
add some of this? And in reality, like it's our voice that
Yeah.
needs to shine through.
Yeah. Right.
And I
What
love
only
that.
you can say. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That your voice and your passion is what,
I love it.
took it to the next level. That's, yeah.
So have you always been a writer? Like as a kid, growing up, reader writer?
Yeah. Yeah, I've always subjected my family, like growing up, I would be like, "Here's your short story for Christmas." And like, I'm sure my brother
Nice.
wanted like He-Man or something. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
Some Hot
now I
Wheels
do
or
a
something, yeah.
dramatic reading about a house prince. Like, so I've always done that. And then it wasn't, I think the turning point for me was in 3rd grade, which I guess is very young for this.
Hey, pivotal moment. Yeah.
Right.
A
Yeah.
canon event.
So my uncle, he doesn't have any kids or anything. And so for Christmas, he got me a copy of Pet Cemetery.
Very
Oh,
I
cool.
was
wow.
thinking because cemetery was misspelled, he thought, "Oh, it must be a kid's book." And
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I started reading it, like, the second I unwrapped it, and, like, nobody's paying attention to me, and we're at this big family gathering.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting in a corner, 8 years old, having my mind blown, um,
Yeah.
and so I was like, "Wait a minute," like, up until that point, I had written like little cutesy short stories, or I used to cut out like pictures from like back when newspapers were like a physical item you could hold. I
Right.
would cut out
Mhm.
things from like the like cartoon pages and make my own like graphic novel. And
Yeah. That's awesome.
then I was like, "Wait a minute, I can be, like, fully" as I'm reading this book, getting terrified, I was like, "I can be, like, manipulating people's emotions. I'm like,
Yeah.
Mm.
do this, like, I wanna use my hobby for evil and make people feel a lot
Yes.
of things."
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Um, and so, yeah, that was really when
Mhm.
I knew I wanted to pursue it. Um, and I said from that point on, that's what I said I was gonna do.
I
Very cool. Very, very cool. Yeah, and you even got going early on with, like, even going the Kickstarter route. Is that correct? With some of
Yeah.
your, graphic novels and things like that?
or
Yeah.
crowdsourcing, yeah.
When I did, like, when I first was starting out in comics, it wasn't even in novels, there wasn't as much availability of people who were willing to take on queer media.
Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
And so Kickstarter was really a thriving place, for comics and for queer comics especially.
Yeah.
So that's where I started, with on my comic side, doing, Kickstarters to fund my Circadia, which was a 5-issue series, there, and it did very well there. And actually, Coven, which was my
Mm.
traditional published graphic novel debut, was originally going to be a Kickstarter. I just was so busy with deadlines, and then my editor was like, "Well, maybe we should have a conversation," because I was mailing myself like 200 comics a week by hand,
Oh
and
my gosh.
Wow.
it was just,
Wow.
like, not
That's a
possible.
full-time job. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So, yeah, so
wow.
that's
It's
how
incredible.
the whole
Yeah.
conversation I had originally never planned to go try out with my graphic novels, but I am glad that I did. It's
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
nice
Well, and
not
like
to
you
think
said,
about
more representation, yeah,
yeah.
and more opportunities to be seen, and thinking too of you getting that Pet Cemetery copy, reading
Mm,
something like Stephen
mm.
King, and realizing what you could do with your words and how powerful that could be. What was the journey then into romance from something like that? How did you land in that genre?
Oh, well, I love, like, my 2 favorite things in life are being terrified and, like, falling in love. So, I
Hand in
think
hand.
yeah, so I think really when you're talking about any kind of like genre writing, like horror and romance, I think they're really close cousins, honestly, because
Yep.
you have expectations going into horror, you have expectations going into romance. So I think naturally they kind of blend together. Um, and so I just always knew, that that was I kind of for a while kept the horror side more as like a guilty pleasure for me to refill the well, because I have so much fun writing people's like first kit. Like I just love
Yeah,
love.
Mhm.
yeah,
So it's like
yeah,
love and terror are my two favorite
yes.
things.
They, like you said, it's overlapping emotions for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and as yeah, as we're talking about, your path, I know for you some girls do was like a breakout novel for you and that
Hmm.
sort of thing. It kind of found just traction on TikTok kind of, right? Is where it exploded. And
Yeah.
I would love to know, like, as a writer, when you're seeing these posts and this thing exploding, what do you feel like really traveled on TikTok? Like, what was the thing? Was it more of the plot or the emotion, or is it identity, representation, the thing that you think kind of really hooked folks with that?
The cover.
Sure,
I really do think, a lot of
sure.
people had it, I think well, I mean, that's the very boiled down answer. I think it has a very beautiful cover, and a lot of
Mhm.
people, put it face out on their bookshelves, a lot of big influencers,
Yeah.
which made
Yep.
people curious, and that started, um what made people look it up. So it's like,
Mm,
for the beautiful cover, stay for
Yep.
the for the story and the characters.
Yeah.
And so I think really people were hungry for sapphic representation.
Yeah.
I think,
Yep.
um, I think it was just really a perfect storm because I'm not even on TikTok, so I wasn't really aware until the sales numbers started happening.
You're like,
Um,
what's going
You're like,
on?
what's
Yeah.
happening? Yeah.
yeah, and then so they really just did that on their own. And Ruby and Morgan really resonated with them at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby has like very conservative parents.
Right.
Morgan is very out and proud. And so I think it clicked because one of the things that I talk a lot about in that book is that like you don't actually have to come out super loud for your queerness to be valid. And
Right.
that here's some ways to navigate it if you're not necessarily in a safe and accepting environment, which Ruby isn't.
Mhm.
So we see
Right.
her journey through all of that.
Yeah.
Um, and I think a lot of people seem to need that message or want that message
Yeah.
For
time.
sure.
Yeah, because like you said, it's such a spectrum of what type of support people have at home or what type of a space they have or
Situation.
don't
Yeah.
have. And so I think that's such a beautiful way by showing the juxtaposition between the two of them of like whatever your situation or your story, like this can be your life and your truth. And you can do this in a way that's honest and best for you, to find that
Mm.
way through. So I love that connected with people and that it, took off in that way and more people got that into their hands. I mean, I just think about the way that you're able to impact lives, especially knowing that these are YA books and just how desperately I'm a high school counselor. I work in like a college and career office. And so just knowing, especially in
How
today's
important it is.
culture and climate,
Get it.
just how critical it is that our, teens and young adults are seeing themselves represented and seeing pathways for themselves.
Yeah.
And so I think that's such a beautiful story with those girls. And
Mhm.
yeah, thankful for their avenues
Yeah.
of things like TikTok and ways that they find things that maybe they might not have otherwise, and that you're speaking to them through art and, through those different ways of capturing the attention. And
Yeah. I guess my question then would be, you've been doing it for a few years, you know, YA, adult romance, whatever. How has the the queer landscape kind of changed for you, like in your writing over the time? Like, I know you're talking about being more visible on one end and it being more mainstream in quotes, I guess, on the other end. Like, what are some of the changes you've seen writing in the genre for a while?
Well, when I first was querying, Some Girls Do was actually what I call my almost book, which is ironic, because it almost got me an agent. Um, but then it ended up being my third book to come out. So if you have an
yeah,
almost book
Sure.
that you love, don't throw it in the garbage.
Hold
Like,
on to it.
right.
Yeah.
Keep it.
because it is my best-selling book.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
back when it was my almost book, a message that I was getting a lot was that like queer girls don't sell. And so there wasn't a lot of
Mm.
and Hot Dog Girl actually came back then in like the 2016 time. Twitter was huge and there'd be these like Twitter pitch parties. And so there was
Mm.
one called DV Pit, which recently came back. It took a little hiatus. And so DV Pit was a pitch party specifically to connect with agents who were looking for diverse books. And so I would tweet, and back then Twitter had like a 250 character limit, or it
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
oh, we had like one sentence to pitch our book. People are
Mhm.
later generations of pitch parties are spoiled.
Yeah.
They'll,
Right.
they'll never understand. Yeah.
Yeah, but I knew anyone who was reaching out about the book was looking for diverse, like a queer book or POC. Like they were specifically trying to put that out into the market and kind of shift the way things were.
Mm.
Um, so then we started seeing and then I was told like sapphic books won't list, and so there was like a lot of barriers, and then they started listing and being very successful, and we're seeing a lot of success. And I think on the adult side we're still seeing that. On the YA side, I definitely there was recently an article that came out talking about how it is shrinking again because of book bans. My book
Right.
are
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
schools. Um, ironically, Hot Dog Girl, which is the book that I give when people are like, "Oh, I have like an 11 or 12-year-old getting into YA." I'm like, "There's like one kiss in the last chapter."
Yeah.
And that's my most banned book, which is so funny to me. Um, but
Oh boy.
so I would say that it's a little bit of a roller coaster, and um, I think we are seeing it shrink again, unfortunately, because schools
Yeah.
are hesitant to pick it up.
Yeah.
Um,
So then publishers are going to be more hesitant to publish
yeah.
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah.
And I started like with Hot Dog Girl, we had a cover that kind of like flew under the radar, and then my covers have gotten like progressively gayer as I went on because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
forget that. Uh,
Yeah, this is what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
but we're seeing a lot of that again where the covers are kind of shifting away
Mhm.
and things. So,
Mm.
which I think is really, I don't want to get too in the weeds about it, but I think things that are going on politically are having ramifications, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
capitalism. We're gonna
Yeah.
buy what we can
Absolutely.
sell. So if
Yeah.
schools won't stop
100%.
it,
Yeah. But one thing I hear in the things you're saying, going back to the Kickstarter and then the Twitter pitch party kind of things, I guess, like you've had such a pulse on places that these
Mhm.
conversations are happening, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm thankful for the work that you're doing to put this work out there and keep this conversation going, because if those places hadn't existed, your books and this genre, like, it wouldn't have seen the growth that it did. And so, like you said, not to get into the weeds, but knowing that there's been a little bit of a backslide and political ramifications and things, I think just conversations like us talking today is showing like there is still such a demand and such a need, and it's from
yeah,
so many
Yeah.
perspectives. And so I'm just thankful that like people like you were on the forefront of knowing where to go to get this work published and
Love it.
produced, so that like you said today, the pitch parties, they're spoiled, they
Right.
don't know, but it's like people like you who were doing the
Right.
work back
Pushing
then
it
in those
forward.
early
Yeah.
days are keeping it pushed forward. And like
Mhm.
for so many topics right now in the world, like there is such a craving and such a need. And so yeah, I'm
Mhm.
just really grateful for the work you're doing and that
Yeah.
instinct that you had to be in the right spaces at the right times to get that
yeah.
pushed. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of us trying to do that. Very passionately, and we're gonna just keep finding ways, however that
I
has to
love it.
Yeah,
happen. So, uh,
absolutely.
and I will say I've been very lucky that I've had a lot of publisher support, and they
Yeah.
have obviously they keep buying books and things like that. And so it's one of the things that I always try to do is send the elevator back down. So when I see like a debut or something, I try
Yep.
to really, I think the community is what is gonna survive.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah. I think one of the ways you're doing that right now is with the new book,
Another
Anderson and Bloom,
right
coming out
here. Another
March
beautiful
3rd.
cover.
Another beautiful cover.
A
Hey,
little
there she
closer
is.
there. Yeah.
I would love just to get a quick blurb about Anderson and Bloom from you, what it's about, what you want people to take from it, type thing.
Yeah. So Anderson and Bloom is about a reclusive former child star who basically in the middle of the night packs up her life, goes dark on socials, and runs away to this tiny town, the land of like no Wi-Fi and bad cell service. And she tells herself she's not running away, but she's definitely hiding out. And her life is turned upside down when her very famous, very hot co-star, who happens to be her ex, decides that she's going to write a tell-all memoir, which kind of threatens to blow up
Yeah.
this quiet life. And
Mhm.
her and Nikki, who is her co-star, and Anderson have not been in contact since she disappeared in the middle of the night. So they're getting thrown back into each other's orbit again.
Awesome. Very cool. Yes. As a person who would love to do this, just disappear into the woods and
Go off grid.
nobody really find me ever again. What attracted you to this celebrity exit kind of core of the story?
Um, I just think it gets, it has to be super overwhelming I sometimes get little tastes of it at book festivals, and then, because when you go in real life, nobody gets, like, wildly excited, you know? But when you go to a book festival, all of a sudden, like, people are very excited to see
Yes.
you,
Yes.
and it's amazing and it's wonderful, but then when I
Yeah.
get home, it's like I go and, like, sit in the woods for, I'm like,
Yes.
I
Yes.
I need
Yeah.
to go hike a mountain and be like,
Yep.
"Nobody look at me, I cannot be perceived."
Mhm.
And so I thought it would be really interesting to explore that in a book,
Mm.
obviously on a much higher level. And I've always been fascinated. She's a former child star, and that transition of when you're in the spotlight so young, uh,
Yes.
and whether you're successfully going to make the jump to adulthood, not even just in Hollywood, if you're going to successfully make it, a lot of child stars,
Oh,
unfortunately,
yeah.
um,
They implode and, yeah, they just
yeah,
don't have the regular experience of living a regular life, and it's
Yeah, all
painful.
that structure and yeah, the emotional
Oh my gosh.
intelligence and yeah, they've had
right.
people thinking for them, running their lives, things like that. I've seen you talk a lot too about how much music plays a part
Oh,
in
yes.
developing a character for you.
Uh-huh.
And one thing I also loved is that Anderson, who as the child star went by Andy, when she moves and kind of goes into this reclusive life, she's Annie. And, these characters have different identities and things. And so I loved how I had read that you talked about like, the playlist of what these characters listen to, and I thought that was so
It's very
awesome.
cool.
Music's a big part of our life. And so I was curious, like, is Andy's playlist different from Annie's playlist? Like how did things change for her in that? Yeah.
Yeah. No, she has one playlist, but that's actually a very interesting, and I kind of wish I did do that because it is a really different mindset. So, where were you like a year ago? um,
Well, I
but
think Andy's still in there, it's
Oh,
like that
yeah.
that is the
yeah.
core
They
of
don't
who she
change.
is and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting her journey back to her true self. So she
Yeah.
really is, but she was listening to a lot of like Gracie Abrams.
Mhm.
You know, you gotta when you're in the
Yeah.
fields, a lot of
You
Gracie
have to.
Abrams, a lot of like Tortured Poets Society and
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Girl power, yeah.
Yeah.
And what was the draw to the florist element, that
Mm.
she, if she's going and kind of seeking this quieter life? I really thought there was just so much beautiful imagery and just the meaning and the different kinds of flowers and things like that and colors and just
so
beautiful.
I had to so the florist element was actually born out of a rabbit hole. I had to, s like, I had to be respectful to someone who maybe I don't super enjoy being
Mm.
respectful to, and I was
Mhm.
wondering if I could create a beautifully passive aggressive bouquet that would look, like, super sweet, but,
That
like,
is
I
beautiful.
would know that it meant,
Yes.
like, you suck.
Petty.
Um
Uh-huh. Petty. I
Kill him with
love it.
kindness.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I
I'm
love
like,
it.
how can I outwardly um
Yes.
but yeah, so I started researching all of the language of flowers, and then I started thinking about like
Mhm.
what would somebody who was like super into the language, like what would that be like if that was like your
Mhm.
real thing and not just like this petty moment in your life? What if that was something that
Yeah.
was like
Mm.
actually kind of like a guiding thing for you?
Yeah.
With Andy, we see in some of the like flashbacks, even when she was on set as a young teen, her parents are botanists, so she has this whole background,
Yep.
Mm.
and they would send her these books, and what would resonate with her wouldn't be any of the science stuff. It would be the more emotional elements and the
Yep.
language of flowers and
Yep.
story of that. And so that has been one of the kind of guiding principles of her life. And so it just seemed like a natural place. Um, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
and I have some friends who are florists, so it was really easy to like talk about what it's really like because I think everyone like glamorizes
Right.
of these kind
Totally.
of jobs, and it's like, "Oh, yeah,
Yep.
Yep.
you're cutting your hand all the time because."
Yep. Yeah. Probably calluses
You're just doing
everywhere.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's
I connected a lot with her too, just because I could imagine like when I'm kind of feeling like I'm spinning out or I need to go sit in the woods kind of thing, I seem to gravitate towards like hands-on things, creative things. Like I'll go and craft something, color something. So I really thought a lot about Andy or Annie and this idea of like getting her hands in something, even when she's getting the cuts and, you know, and that time for reflection and quiet around the flowers. And so I just thought that was such a great space for her to go to when she was trying to retreat, but she still had so much language through these flowers, you know, and through all this knowledge, like you're saying that she has in this background. Like what a beautiful place for her to go and kind of heal and reflect and try to find this new space. Even though, like you said, she's hiding, you know, she's still got to face it, but she took the time to go sit with it for a little bit. And I thought that was a really beautiful choice for where to put her to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say what I'm kind of taking from this is the idea of, which is also a core tenet of the story, of kind of owning your own story, right? And this idea of like, I can take myself out of Hollywood. I can make these things with my hands. Like you said, I'm taking ownership and charge, all until, you know, somebody else wants to come and tell your story. Yeah. Especially when it's an ex trying to tell your story.
Controlling the narrative.
I would love to just hear you talk about story ownership and the way that manifests itself within this book.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for Andy, because we see a lot of moments where her story is not her own, when she's reflecting on her time in Hollywood, not just as like a child star where you're completely out of control and she has, you know, a manager, like an accountant who has stolen from her. So she has had, you know, even children in Hollywood don't have the kind of autonomy that adults have.
Right.
So
Yeah,
the start of her life is no control, you know, which I think a lot of people forget about childhood and YA. And that's one of the things I enjoy writing about YA is because you have control, but you have very limited control because your parents are still. So she goes straight from that to then as they start aging up, she's dealing with tabloids telling stories because Nikki has this kind of huge rise to fame.
Right.
You know, this party girl, she's presented a certain kind of way, and Andy is kind of seen as the dead weight and this like dragging down. And so the way that she's seen by the world and the way that the world interacts with her is all based on other people.
Yep.
So a big
Absolutely.
part of this is just getting to tell her own story in the way of reclaiming her life. She doesn't, you know, she comes to realize like no one is really, as she's in this flower shop, like no one is really owed anything. Like she doesn't owe the world any explanation. But it does take a while to get there. And then it takes a while for her to figure out as she starts navigating things with Nikki, what that exactly is going to mean. You know, and then of course in the climax of the book, we really get to see how she is going to navigate reclaiming her story.
Yeah.
But
That's so important.
definitely the central theme is really owning who you are and finding and embracing that.
Yeah.
100%.
And can I ask, so something we've talked about in developing our lead characters is we kind of started with our female lead, and she was, you know, we talked about her characteristics and things like that. And then as we created her partner, it was kind of like, what does she need, right? Like, what is she missing, or what lesson does she need? Like, what is she seeking? And so did you approach that at all in creating Nikki for Andy, or, you know, were they just always their own individuals in your mind? Like, how did Nikki come about?
Yeah, so I primarily write about disasters. So I just think
The horror.
I just think
The
of
terror.
2 disasters that I want to make kiss, and then I figure out how can we do that in a healthy
Love it.
way.
I love that.
Um,
Yes.
so it depends, you know, like I've had books where like some of my characters, like in my second YA Verona comics, like Ridley had to get intensive therapy because I was like, there's no way to make this not
Yes.
so yeah, so the universe doesn't usually gift me with like I love the way that you do it, but my way is much more just like, okay, I want these 2 vibes to because I
Yes.
think more in terms of like vibes and like
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
these two vibes to yearn and eventually kiss. And so that
Yes.
means
Yes.
whatever the rest I flesh out, as I'm kind of going along.
I thought that was interesting. I've seen you talk about how, as you're writing and the way that the story evolves for you, you feel it before you see it. And I think that's something unique that we haven't heard a lot before. And so would you talk a little bit about that, is like with your plotting process and that feeling of how this is going to evolve?
I think it goes back to the little kid reading the Stephen King book and getting really scared. Is that, like, for me, reading is a very, like, emotional, I mean, emotional is maybe not the right word. It's more of like a physical experience where I'm feeling these things. And the feelings are what's really grounding me in the story more so than the plot. The plot is a thing that my editors make me do. If I could just like list the feelings in some way. But for me, that's what it's about. It's like, what do I really want to feel in this book? Do I want to feel, generally I like to end on obviously I want to feel love and I want to feel hope because I'm writing romance, and that I feel like is really my contract with the reader.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes I'm just like, I actually just want to hurt our feelings today. So we're going to really
That's
get
real.
into like angst and yearning.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really, it's more of like, off of the emotions and the vibes, than like the hardcore details.
The
Yeah.
details and
Yeah.
nitty-gritty. Yeah. Before I move us into our game, I want to just ask you kind of like the generic question is like, once somebody reads this book and they send you a DM, what do you want that DM to say?
Hopefully, I liked your book.
Hopefully.
If there's other things that you want to say, not in that vein, you don't have to DM it.
Yeah, you don't have to send it. You can keep those.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's some of the feedback I've gotten has been like there is an element of like a recovery element in Anderson, and so I do have I have had people say that some of it feels like very real, realistic to some of the thinking. So to me, it just was something that was important to me that I got right. So getting messages like that, were really great. But overall, yeah, um, I just want people to realize that, like, with all of my books, like I say, I start with disasters. And so I'm really just trying to show people that, like, you still deserve love, even if you're super messy. There's things you
Love
should
it.
do to maybe be a
Yes.
little bit better of a partner, but
Yes.
everybody deserves love in
that.
their life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Wonderful answer. I love it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, if you don't have great things to say, don't worry about sending them along. You can just
I don't know how they
email
do
them.
it.
Email them to
It's
somebody else.
fantastic. Yeah, I don't think
But I do want to push us into our game here. It's called The Impossible Meet Cute. We have so many fantastic authors on. We thought wouldn't it be fun to just kind of brainstorm with them a little bit, the first few pages of a novel. And so I'm challenging us for you to come up with a character that could be anything, a name, a trait, whatever you want. I'll come up with a character, and then Andrea will hit us with the location, and we'll smash them together and see if we can make, I don't know, the first 5 pages of a book. And maybe we'll throw a title at it.
What kind of disasters
can we create? Then smash them together.
I love it.
So
the chaos.
Give me 20 seconds because I think I've got an idea. I just don't have a name yet. And I think
I like it.
Yeah.
I had a couple ideas for locations. I got to figure out which one I'm going to choose.
Okay. All right. I think I am ready.
Do you have your character?
Jen, I'll actually let you go first if you want to reveal your character.
Okay, so mine was done by committee. I actually cheated and discussed this with my daughter, who immediately had a response. And so she said, you have to do Sophia, the shark cage diver.
Yes.
Okay.
I love it.
Shark cage diver. Okay. Okay.
I love it.
And this is the setting is gonna be really interesting for this because I they're not. They're two very different things. I came up with a woman named Deanna,
Okay.
and she's a very serious driving instructor. Like
Okay.
she's very serious about instructing drivers.
Okay.
Not instructing divers,
Yeah,
but
divers and drivers.
drivers.
Okay.
Oh,
but
wow.
Both
Okay.
very serious business.
Okay.
Yes, it is life
Okay.
and death. I mean, I feel like we will have
Interesting.
things to talk
I know. We really went for it.
So the location that I choose, I'm trying to think, how are they going to?
Oh, man.
How
This
is
should be
going to
interesting.
influence their?
Okay. Okay.
I was thinking that they were both buying toilet paper in bulk at like a warehouse, a bulk shopping
Okay,
warehouse, like a
okay.
Sam's or a Costco. So they, they,
Toilet paper. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was just what I had in my head
Okay.
of this meet cute over
Interesting.
loving the same
Interesting.
kind of bulk toilet paper.
Okay. So I've got a thought. If you let me start, I've kind of got a thought.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So what if Deanna's got her cart and she's driving through the lanes and she's like,
Oh,
she's like very seriously practicing her driving with the cart through the lanes. And then maybe their carts bump
Oh, okay.
and it gets Deanna like, you hit my cart. What's going on? But they met right in front of the toilet paper.
Maybe Sophie's cage is a little rattled, like her
Okay.
cart cage.
She's in the cage.
No,
just kidding.
she's riding around in
Okay.
the cart. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Because
How
it
do
feels
they-
like, the cart feels like this
Right?
place where she's comfortable. So maybe she's
The
just in
shaking
the
of
She
the
just
car.
metal.
lives in it. She lives in a cage, and her little arm comes out to get toilet paper. I just see it now.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
she could
That's
be
pretty good.
Well, yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah, she could be. I mean, she could be in the cage. It would
Sure.
probably be difficult to navigate it through like a
That's pretty fun.
Costco.
I see
Uh,
like your costume. It's like
The
with the
hot dog-
shoulders
hot
and there's a
dog girl,
cage and the
yeah.
feet coming out of the bottom.
yeah,
She's always practicing.
okay.
She's
this is like
keeping
a
herself.
personal. Yeah, we could do.
Yeah.
And I could see
Oh,
how
I love it.
Deanna, as a driving instructor, would be really upset about someone not following the driving rules. Or,
rules.
those places are so busy. You've really got to be in control of your vehicle,
Okay.
Yeah.
your cart vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah, and she could
Okay.
be going, because she's thinking about the ocean. Soph is thinking about the
Mhm.
ocean. She's thinking about the next dive. She's going to be really like she's more of like a head in the clouds. She's all business once you
For
go to
sure.
the ocean.
Uh-huh.
But right now, she's like, I don't care. I have to get
Yeah,
told
she's not locked
to
in.
go out on this boat. She's probably going down the opposite flow of traffic.
For sure.
And
For
She's
sure.
definitely floating through life.
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, there we go. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and it's probably not a bump. It's probably like a head-on. Like this
A
is going to
good-
be probably like enemies to lovers.
I love
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, they start out with some beef for
Yeah,
sure.
because she doesn't follow the natural flow of traffic,
Uh-huh.
and that is just unacceptable.
that doesn't fit Deanna's vibe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm curious,
let me
what
think.
is Sophie listening to in her
Oh, yeah.
AirPods as she's
Yeah, what's
floating through Costco?
she's definitely
I
listening to
think
something.
like the
Yeah.
Jaws theme song.
Oh, it's so intense. Just as the suspense builds, she
Yeah.
rams into Deanna.
Boom.
I
Yeah,
was just trying to get toilet paper.
Okay. 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 And maybe we'll keep it simple. Maybe they reach for the same pack of toilet paper and it's the
Mhm.
last one,
Mm-hmm.
and they both do the hand on like
The fingers
Uh,
touch.
the fingers
but they're
touch.
a
You can
little
go
bit
heated
or
rivalry
she's
if you
just
want.
mad. Yeah,
Yeah, and they're kind of upset about it.
I know.
And
Are
they
there
kindle
any
fire
initial
over them.
sparks or? Yeah. What'd you say?
So yeah, they could be like tugging.
Yeah.
I think they're tugging at
Little
it.
aggression.
Mhm.
I like
Okay.
And
it.
she's like, why is this like super hot, uptight girl so annoying? Like, why is it
Yes.
always
Yes.
the annoying ones that are so hot? That's how we're feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Like she's not had to follow the rules. She's not had to share. Yeah. She's
They do
making
come from very
assumptions
different
about her.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
'Cause
Maybe
I think
maybe
Dana,
it is enemies to lovers. I like that.
I
Go ahead.
think it is,
Deanna.
but I think Dana, over the course of the story, will come to recognize that Sophie is meticulous when it comes to like people's safety, just like Deanna is.
Safety.
Oh,
Okay.
I like this.
So then what if, let's say they have this interaction in the store, they kind of tussle, whatever, like it's kind of a big deal. They register each other. And I think maybe Sophia would be like, yeah, whatever, I'll figure this out, whatever. but then maybe she goes outside and her car battery's dead or something.
Now she needs
So
help.
now she needs help.
A little bit of a rescue situation.
Yes.
Oh,
and he, of course, carries extra car stuff and is very serious about his car health.
Deanna? Or somebody outside?
No, the driving instructor, Deanna.
Oh,
very,
okay.
Very
yeah.
into car.
She's going to have some equipment. Yeah.
100%.
I like it.
She's going to be putting out like flares around the spot.
Yes.
And she's got
cones,
like the
multiple cones, and
she's got like those triangle things that you go like
yes,
yes.
And
whatever the actual like handbook says you're supposed to do in these situations.
Sophie's
I
like
love
dying, like laughing. So
yeah, and then maybe as a thank you,
Sophie's
like, we should get coffee or let me buy you a dinner or something. Would it be that fast?
I think they need to still collide on the fact that she is like danger focused with the shark stuff and the safety focus on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
They need to reconcile that with bringing each other into each other's world, probably in some way.
I mean, she could give her a coupon for a shark dive.
Yes.
Okay.
And now she gets her on the boat. And it's like, now you're in my world. There's not streets. There's not stoplights.
I got it.
Right?
So they try to fix the car doesn't work. And then Sophie has to drive with Deanna in the car very safely to the AutoZone part store, something to help out. And that's when they start to forge that relationship.
And the coupon
why are you wearing a cage? Comes out. So, wait, why are you in this cage? We don't reveal it till chapter 4 that she just lives in a cage. It's like, it's very long.
Maybe she lost a bet or something. Maybe that was temporary.
Or Deanna has to safely drive her back to where she lives, which is at the docks.
There it is.
Like a houseboat.
Like yeah. And then she's like, well, yeah, my life is like, I'm a shark.
I love this. What are y'all titling this?
I know, and I think she invites to the shark dive.
Do the shark dive. The shark dive is going to be the cutest first date ever. I mean, if you don't count the meet cute as a first date, like a
let
shark
me just
dive, there's your terror.
In the water. That's more romantic.
I would love to see Deanna
meet cute, like MEAT cute, meet cute, like chum cute.
That could be good.
Yeah, I like it. Well, and I just like the idea of Deanna being in a space where she's terrified and uncomfortable, where she's been so rigid and like, these are the rules and this is how we stay safe. And now she's in a shark cage. Yeah.
Sharks.
No, that's beautiful. I love it. What a beautiful love story.
Okay. Did we land on the title? What do we think?
Yeah, some kind of.
I like meet cute, but I feel like it needs to be more like.
Yeah, it's got to have a play on
sharky or driving or. Teeth. Cage.
I was kind of thinking something safety too, like safety in numbers or something like that. Like some kind of a play on that. I'm good. Just you talking about like horror, terror, and romance having so much overlapping. I'm like a dive in a shark cage. Man, that is just the perfect overlap of terror and romance.
Yeah,
swimming,
so fun,
diving. Trying to think where the overlap is in car driving.
I liked your divers and drivers.
Divers and drivers.
The tagline could be like, it's going to be a meet, M-E-A-T, cute to remember.
There you go.
Ooh, a meet to remember.
Meet cute to remember.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. Got the title and the tagline. All right, just marking it.
There we go.
Away.
Well, when you write that book, just put us in the acknowledgements.
I thought we were
I know she's like, definitely add that to the list.
Down. That's the almost book you were talking about.
Yeah, right. That's the one you keep in the drawer. Yeah,
you keep it in the back pocket.
It might come back up. Thank you for
we nailed it.
Playing.
I mean,
us. That's
it's
fun.
an instant seller.
Oh, for sure. There's a market for that for sure. Well, now we got a little peek in your brain.
Yeah.
Will you tell us a little bit about what your true writing looks like? I know we've talked a little bit about, the feelings, versus the vision.
Even what just a day looks like.
Yeah. What is
the writing process?
Day?
Yeah, I know you said you were doing 6 to midnight before. Yeah. Is that still a thing?
No, thankfully.
Thank goodness.
I write full time now with my deadline. So like this year I have Anderson, which is my adult romance, out in March, and then I have Girls Like Us, which is my YA romance. out in May, and I have a graphic
Yeah.
novel out in August, and I have an anthology in June. So
My
I
goodness.
write all day, most of the
Yeah.
day. It's
Yeah.
my like full-time job. Um, so yeah, generally I get up and I go for a run. I most days run like 3 to 5 miles, and that just really like clears my head. I have to listen to like
Yeah.
murder podcasts generally. Um, or
Like you're being chased while
Yeah.
you're running?
yeah,
Build up that terror for
yeah.
yourself? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I love that. I love true crime. And I
Yeah.
love to like
Mm.
think when I'm running, I do a lot of trail running when the weather's nice. And I do always like to imagine that Jason Voorhees is like just out of sight. It does help with my mile
Yes.
climb.
I was saying
Yeah.
keep the
I was gonna
intensity up for
say,
sure.
yeah, keep
Yeah.
those
The
And
that
then
adrenaline.
that pace.
from there, then I will start my day. And I'm trying something new recently. Like my day used to just be like, I have like an ADHD brain. So it used to just kind of
Mhm.
be this like very nebulous thing,
Mhm.
like a lot of staring into space. Um, and because I was like, okay, well, I have this list of things to do, and now I'm gonna just like stare into space for an hour.
Mhm.
Like, how do I transition? My
Yep.
friend actually was like, buy a little timer. And so now I
Mm.
have a timer. And so I'll say, okay, for 15 minutes, I'm going to do emails. And then when it dings, it's like I'm free. And
I love that.
even if I'm not done, that's it. And so I will do that. I will say for the next hour, max is out at an hour. So I'll do each task for an hour. So I'll be like, I'm going to write my adult. Like right now, I'm doing a developmental edit for my YA, and I am doing drafting the first draft of my next adult romance. And so
Wow.
um I will set the timer for an hour, completely lock in. A lot of times what happens is because I do have ADHD, once I'm locked in, it's hard for me to like unlock. So a lot of times I keep going, but for some reason telling myself like I just have to go till it dings makes it seem
Yes.
really manageable. It's like when
Yes.
people say,
Hmm.
"Oh, just get dressed like you're going to go to the gym even if you go for 5 minutes." But like once you're dressed,
Yes.
you're there, you're
You're
not
gonna do
going to
it.
do it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's how I trick myself.
Yeah.
And
Very
then
smart.
I may
generally,
steal that
I was
actually.
gonna say we have a lot of ADHD in our house, and so we are
Yeah.
always looking for new tips and
Yeah,
tricks
I
to
yeah.
may
hack
steal
our
that one.
brains.
I like
Yes,
that.
yes,
It's
yes.
it
That's a good
really
one.
it seems like so I used to say, like I used to set, like, little, like, 15-minute time. Now I'm just, like, really, like, a lot more, like, I'm gonna do an hour, I'm gonna sit down, and I'm gonna lock in, and for some reason, I've, like,
Yep.
padlocked myself that once I dial it, like, I'm fully committed. Um,
Yeah.
and generally, I will do, um, 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon if I'm doing 2 projects at once. And I've
Yeah.
also learned I need to start with the YA because if I start
Oh, interesting.
yeah, if I start adult in the morning, sometimes my YA work for that day will lean a little too mature. Like I'll be like, "Why?"
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That makes
I
sense.
was
Well,
gonna ask
you
you if
are
it's
Yeah.
difficult to
Yeah.
transition because,
Keeping
yeah,
all
I mean,
those,
you're
yeah,
doing so many different things in different genres and different mediums.
at the
yeah.
same
That's
time.
gotta be
Yeah, yeah,
tricky to
yeah. No, that's more good advice. I
I
really
love that,
like
man.
that.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
steal all this.
No, I know. I like the idea of thinking about the order of what you're doing, not just hey, this is my
Yep.
to-do list, but what order makes most sense
Mhm.
too. And yeah, that's very smart. I love that.
Yeah, I
Very
was also
smart.
gonna ask you in that same vein of moving from YA to adult, um, has anything changed? I know you said, it can get spicier if you're not careful here and there, but, like, are there any muscles that you've, had to build up separately for the romance piece or for the adult romance side?
Um, I had really like it was a little bit eye-opening. So I read a lot of adult romance, so spice is not anything that like I love spice, very pro
Yeah.
spice on the
Yes.
adult side.
Yes.
But it was really wild to me when I wrote my first adult, which to me felt like very spicy. And people are like, "You can tell she comes from YA." Like, it was so and I was like,
Like,
they had a lot
yeah,
on the page, open door fun times. Like, a lot of
right.
things happened in that book. I don't and somebody would be like, "I did, like, a word term search, and they searched specific words for body parts," and they were like, "I"
Okay.
and I'm like, "Okay, so I have to be, like, very,
Very clear.
Yeah.
very explicit
That's
here
really
what we're
interesting.
dealing with." And now sometimes when I read
Yeah.
a book, that feels like it could have been like a gynecological exam, I'm like,
Right?
are they doing this for the keyword search? Like,
Yeah.
Yes,
did they
Yeah.
get these
Yeah.
that's
DMs
very fair.
too?
Interesting. Well,
Um,
I guess it just shows someone cares if they're looking for words and
Yeah,
they're
too.
really into it, I
They're
guess.
getting
Yeah,
their
yeah.
sure.
SAT practice while
Man.
they're reading too, I
Yeah,
guess.
I think
Yeah,
Yikes.
so
getting that
that's
vocabulary.
so that was like
Yeah.
really where I felt like and there are people who do adult romance beautifully that don't lean into that. But I think since I'm comfortable putting open door
Right.
scenes, I didn't necessarily fully understand that like keeping in mind what people super wanted to see.
Mhm. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
In terms of like, because for me, I thought, oh, this is like very mature and spicy.
Mhm.
Real
Mhm.
spice readers were like, mm-mm.
They're like, "Huh,
They're like,
cute,
mm-mm,
cute." Yeah.
They're
mm-mm.
like
And
one
have you
chili
seen
That's
pepper.
funny. That's really funny.
Has your voice evolved as an author, with so many books now as you're
Mm.
so deep into this career?
Yeah, I think yeah, I mean, I think it's become I think there's certain hallmarks, like things you're definitely gonna know that you're gonna get with me, like really, like I'm really known for these messy bisexual disasters. There's gonna be a level of hijinks. A lot of my books have texting, so some of those things I
Mm.
think come out in my voice every time, and it's not like a
Yeah.
conscious thing. It's just that's how my brain works. But I do think it has become a little bit easier to kind of give not necessarily, voice is always the tricky, and so what I might say, I don't want to say, oh, I have like great use of voice because there's probably 500 people out there who will be like, no, you don't. But for me, giving my brain over to this other character has become a lot more
Yeah.
slippery and easier to do. Whereas before, it would be a lot more of like, okay, I need to set aside like the fact that
Mm.
like I have to carpool and I have to do this and the
Yes.
mission
Yes. You're
trip.
staying in your own head. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I can fully just sit down and basically be another person putting this story out. So
I
that
I
love
love that.
that. That's encouraging,
That's
inspiring. I
encouraging.
know.
We need it.
Work towards that.
We gotta keep figuring it out as we
Yeah.
go.
Trying to
I
find
just
time.
thank
Yeah.
you for sharing all that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna steal the ADHD clock thing because I
Yeah.
struggle mightily with that, both in writing
So
and
real.
my job stuff. So
Yeah.
I may borrow that.
All aspects of life.
Do you want to hit us with the final five?
I know. Are you good for the
Yeah.
lightning round to wrap us up? All
Oh.
right. So we've kind of already covered number one. Open door or closed door?
Open. Yeah.
Yeah. Sexiest occupation for a main character?
That's hard. That's really I think in my second book, The Ride of Her Life, she's a farrier
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a
she's
good one.
like super muscly and the animals love her and I was just like,
That's hot. Yeah. Goes back to that
looking for
veterinary. We share that
yeah.
veterinary heart.
Mhm.
Yeah. Favorite beverage while riding?
Um I'm very pro Dunkin', which I know is a controversial take.
Mm.
Most people are like Starbucks.
Hot take.
So
Hot take.
a Dunkin' iced coffee and a caffeine-free Diet Coke are my
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the ADHD.
ADHD drinks.
The multiple drinks. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's
there's
real.
always and then,
There's
like,
gotta
my
be.
emotional support water.
Yep. Got mine
Oh,
right
hers
here.
is here.
It's
Yeah.
It should
far
never
from
one
far
arm
from
lengths
my arm.
away.
Yeah. Favorite punctuation mark?
Oh, the M dash, like,
Yes.
I use
Agree.
thousands.
We've started a club that's called Save the M Dash. So if you'd like to join, we'd love to have you as a member. We're working on
I would say
graphics and
92% of the authors we have talked to have said M dash. So yeah.
Well, I think
that's where the club's coming from.
what people don't realize is when they're all like, when non-authors are like, you can tell if it's AI because of the M dash. I'm like, that's because they were fed so many romance books. Like, it's not because it's like, oh, a computer brain.
It didn't come up with it itself.
Because we were fed our beloved M dashes.
Yes.
100%.
So yes.
Which is also critical for ADHD. We need the M dash.
Right.
We need to give all the context.
We got to give the bonus thought that goes with the thought. There's always a bonus thought.
Yes. Tangents.
I have to
go that's critical. So
I have to go through like all my professional emails and stuff and take them out because I'm like, do you want the thought I was having while I was having the
Exactly.
Yep, that's exactly how I am.
Exactly. Well, as soon as we have our merch, we will mail you a sticker.
We're gonna work on
taking back the M dash.
Taking back the M dash.
Yes. And last question: what's one word you always overuse in first drafts? I know people have been searching your first drafts for different words. What's one that you always overuse?
Just. And I would say probably a lot of people probably say that. And a weird one for me is though. 500 those. And people like, I've had an editor be like, it's weird that that's your crush word. Like, but yeah,
I had to bring my own quirk to it.
Yeah. Everyone in my book says go like every 5 seconds in the first draft of every book.
Oh my gosh.
Because they're well rounded. They have to tell you both sides. This, though,
Got balance. Bringing awesome perspectives. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us.
For your time.
We're going to add socials and things at the end of our podcast. But
I'll tell everybody.
Everybody out there listening, please go out there and pick up Anderson and Bloom out March 3rd by the lovely Jenn Dugan here. Thank you for joining us, and we will chat again soon.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast, and I'd love to come back anytime.
Any character that lives inside of a cage full time, I want to read a book about.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like Bubble Boy, but even better because it's just like you're wearing a tiny cage. You're built for that career. I love it.
Perfect crossover of the terror and the romance, all the emotions.
Big thanks to Jenn Dugan.
Thank you so much.
What a great conversation.
So many good knowledge bombs.
So many drops.
I was like making notes constantly about things she said. I want to go back.
My ADHD brain loves the timer.
I was going to say, are you ordering the timer immediately?
I think I need it.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
I need a few of them in this house.
Yeah.
Just order multiple. Yeah. I loved the thing she said about that she loves to take 2 disasters and make them kiss. I'm like,
great quote.
And just that idea of like, even if you're messy, like you're still deserving of love. And that includes loving yourself and that, your whole identity and your, just who you are, just that you're deserving of that. No matter how much of a hot mess you feel like. That really resonated with me.
Yeah.
I think I'm be a bit of a hot mess. And just the work she's doing, like she said, sending the elevator back down to make sure that more voices are getting into the space and telling these stories and just creating, using her platform in such a way to share that light.
I would say on the craft side, the idea of the music is so interesting to me. I read multiple places where she knows the music and the playlist a lot of the time before she knows the character. And that's how she builds the character. She's like writing on vibes that's amazing.
I think that was something unique. And I enjoyed hearing her talk about that so much of what she does as a writer is based on feeling. And not something she's seeing as a vision or something 100%. She's thinking, but it's really about that feeling. And it even takes me back to Jane Ann Krentz and how music and the energy of music and how it evokes these emotions and these feelings. And I love that how she's using that.
Putting it all together to guide the story. Unbelievable. Very cool.
Very cool. Thank you, Jenn.
Thank you, Jenn. Where can we find Jenn?
You can find Jenn. Her website is JL Dugan. So JLDUGAN.com. She's on TikTok, X, and Instagram at JL_Dugan. So please, go follow her, find her there. She's a fun follow. But so much coming out this year too. I mean, you're going to see her name a lot depending on the different genres you
all
live
the different
in.
projects. Unbelievable.
I know. I'd love to have her come back to talk to you about her graphic novels and
we're like kind of working hard to do our one little project, and she's working on like 4 at a time.
That's a shame. We're like trying to get this one book written. But
my gosh.
Speaking of books.
Yeah, that's what the podcast is about. Continue.
but like physical books
Oh, okay.
too.
Yeah, yeah. Physical.
We got book mail. Wanted to give a shout out
Super shout out
to our girl Jess Cozy over at William Morrow, author of We've Hit Turbulence. She sent us some cool books. We got an Arc of Trope Sick.
I know.
Former guest of the show, Lauren Oakey,
who may or may not be on again to talk about Trope Sick.
To talk about this, and Anderson and Bloom, Jen's book, which again, so gorgeous. So we got to preview that before we talked to her today. So yeah, it's fun. Book mail. We love book mail. Excited about these. Thank you again to Jess Cozy.
Jess Cozy.
Yeah.
And tell Shelby I said hey.
Yeah,
we miss Shelby. Give Shelby all the pets.
Shelby the beagle.
That's it for us today. We did it.
I know.
Look at you. You look so cute today.
Thank you.
Look at you.
Our cute little matching gold.
I know. It was an accident.
We accidentally matched.
How cute you are in all your black.
Thank you. You still got that Valentine's vibe.
Maybe. What are you doing after the podcast?
I don't know. I have to see. I got a lot of options, a lot of offers.
Why don't you tell the people where they can find us and stuff, and then that way we can move into our own interview. You know what I mean?
You're gonna interview me.
Personal interviews.
Yeah. You can find us on Instagram at Our Next Chapter Podcast.
That's true.
On our website, ournextchapterpodcast.com.
www.
No, that was
that Our Next Chapter
5 thing. It's March. Like, we are absolutely done with
HTTPS.
that. No, I will quit. I will quit, and you can do this by yourself or with Stella. See if she'll. I mean, maybe she won't mind.
I'll put the HTTPS in here right here then.
Thanks. Yeah, find us there. You could sign up for our non-existent newsletter on our website, and the important part of that is that when we do publish this book, your name will be at the back as one of our OG fans and supporters. So thank you for that.
Yes.
But until next time, I love you.
And I love you.
You always sound so surprised. Like, oh, we both love each other.
It's a shock.
Who would have thought?
It's a shock.
Yeah.
So
always a surprise.
What are you doing after this podcast?
I don't know. What hot date do you have planned? I took you on a pretty good one for Valentine's.
I got a special present for you.
Oh, I bet you do. You always do.